mandatory, Christine, for employers to submit this interim reconciliation?
Yes, it's very mandatory. So the moment you're going not to submit this reconciliation, you're going to face consequences with SARS.
Welcome back to Brendmo Business Hub channel, the channel that we always share experts' advice around your compliance, your tax, and any various topics. And today I'm so glad in the studio I'm joined by Christine. Christine, welcome to Brendmo Business Hub channel.
Oh, thank you so much, Mollen.
Thank you, thank you. So Christine is one of our one of the people that manage our payroll, consultants that manage our clients' payroll, and she's the one who ran everything, the tax related to the payroll around that. So today in the studio, I think you already know that we are talking about things or issues around payroll, taxes, the submissions, and what does the regulator require you to do as an employer. So today, just to kick off, Christine, tell us more about the monthly declarations that happens and what happens when you run payroll. What are the regulatory things that you do, submit to SARS and something like that to kick off?
Okay, thank you so much. So to begin with, after each and every month payroll is being run, right? So in terms of SARS, we have to file what we call an EMP201.
Yes.
It's a monthly declaration that is being done for each and every month.
Okay.
And this declaration is normally done after after doing your payroll, and which is normally due on the 7th of the following month. So for example, we've done the payroll for September now. The return was due on the 7th of October. So which means it's due either for submission and also for payment. You can submit it earlier, but payment latest should also be paid by the 7th
of every month.
Yes.
Okay, so this declaration, what does it mean when you do your payroll? Which means you are declaring the tax that you have withheld on people's salary.
Yes. So it's by law, every employer has to withhold tax for their employees. So after withholding these taxes, they need to submit them to SARS in all respective departments. So for example, for SARS, what we'll be declaring the EMP201, which consists of the PAYE, and then the UIF, which is the Unemployment Insurance Fund, as well as the SDL, which is the Skills Development Fund. So the Skills Development Levy. So these three, they need to be filed in one in SARS. But at the end of the day, like for example, for UIF, you then have to do what is also monthly reconciliation for UIF on the UIF portal. To say, okay, we declared this UIF, let's say it's 2,000. It was for Christine, it was for Mollen, it was for this and this. And then so that whenever employees, let's say they in circumstances where they are unemployed or like the COVID era, where they have to go and claim. They can go claim, then they will know that, okay, there was Christine in Brendmo, there's this employee in Brendmo. That is for UIF. So for SARS also, it's also a different case. We also have to go later on after the EMP201, we have to move to the EMP501, which is the reconciliation saying, this payee was for Christine, this payee was for Mollen, and all those things.
So Christine, you have explained the EMP, that's a monthly thing that you need to do. And you touched around the reconciliation that you do to the UIF. And now the reconciliation is what that you have to do. And you said it's EMP501 to SARS as well. So when does the text, what are the due dates for this one? When does the reconciliation season start?
Okay, so the reconciliation is very important to take note of these dates. So this normally for this one now, like we are in October, we need to file what we call the first interim reconciliation, right? Which is always open, which is for March 2025 to August 2025. For each other year, it's always on March to August, depending with the year. But this one now, we need to file to reconcile who was paid, whose payee, whose SDL, whose UIF was declared to SARS within this period. So it's normally due on the 31st of October.
Yeah.
And it normally opens roughly mid-September.
Okay.
So for this year, it was already opened. It's already open. It opened on the 22nd of September.
Okay.
So it's also going to close on the 31st of October, which will be on a Friday.
Okay, like this month?
Yeah, this month. It's just two weeks to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
So which means you are saying for this interim, that we call the interim one, that for that period, March to August, so it's actually due. So
Yeah,
which means if you are out there running payroll, you need to make sure that the reconciliation are done. And if not, call Christine.
Yeah, they can call us. Brendmo, we are going to do the job for you to make your life easier. Yeah, we can also do that for them.
Okay, so you are saying this is due 31st of October. So the important date to catch this 31st of October.
Yes.
So is it mandatory, Christine, for employers to submit this interim reconciliation?
Yes, it's very mandatory. So the moment you're going not to submit this reconciliation, you're going to face consequences with SARS.
Yeah.
Which are the consequences? The consequences are you're going to incur interest and penalties.
Okay.
Because you haven't submitted.
Okay.
Or even your compliance is going to be non-compliant. You're going to be non-compliant.
Okay.
Which will also affect your overall compliance. Imagine you want to submit a tender and then all of a sudden just you're not compliant just because of EMP501, which is something that can be done with limited time.
Yeah, okay, so which means for you, and I always tell the people and the clients that non-submission and paying penalties for just not submitting things that you have paid already. you know, so which is, I call them fruitless and wasteful expenditure. So that's what you're saying, and we all know that it's a statutory requirement, and non-compliance is actually a risk, like what you're saying,
it's
to your company.
Risk for the organization. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, Christine, how can employers then submit this mandatory requirement? How can they do that to SARS?
Okay. So there are basically two ways for employers to do this.
Okay.
So all of them, they'll be using all SARS recommended platforms.
Okay.
The first one, you can use EasyFiling.
Okay.
EasyFile, which is a download that you need to do and install, and then you need installments and also need upgrades. Should there be any updates to be done for each and every year or each and every season.
Okay.
And also the second one is the eFiling portal. You can just log into your eFiling, and then there's that option to say, when you go to your returns and then there's that what you call EMP501.
Yes.
There's one, and then you open a return. You just select the period that you want to file for. And then you then have to manually input the income for your employees and also the taxes that were withheld for each and every employee.
Okay.
Cumulative. So it will be cumulative for the whole period from March 2025 to August 2025 in this scenario that we are filing for the August one. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So which means you need to make sure that you use either or. You can't use both.
You can't use both. You have to choose what you want to go.
Okay.
If you are using EasyFile, continue with EasyFile. If you are using the SARS, but what I would recommend, like as a payroll, someone who's been in payroll for a long time now, I think EasyFile is much way easier, especially if you are using a payroll system. And I always recommend to have your payroll run in a system. For example, you can use 𝘁𝗵𝗋. So it's just a matter of pulling your file. Making sure that everything there is intact, should be all employees is there, everything that is required for any employee numbers, the addresses, the phone number, all the banking details, everything is there. And then it's just a matter of few minutes. And you are done, rather than manual. Imagine if you are running 100 employees and you need to input each and everything. Each code for it's tiresome.
Okay, no, that's that. Thank you. I think Christine, you actually mentioned something very important there to say. Make sure your payroll you are running it in using a system.
Yes.
Don't do payslip on Word document, and it's difficult now for the reconciliation because you said you are declaring cumulative pay taxes for the period, so which is very important. So is it then mandatory for all employees to have a tax reference number? Because you mentioned that there are certain details that are needed. Make sure that you have those details in your payroll systems.
Yes. Back then, even up to now, yes, you can be able to submit. I'm sorry, I'm better running away from your question, but I'll come back.
Yes.
So you find that you're able even to submit all these EMP501s for employees without even tax numbers.
Yeah.
But starting next year, and the February one, the final tax submission for 2026-02, which is done in February, which will be due in February, but it's normally done in May. Okay. So for that one, unfortunately, SARS is issued and is even advertising and also making people know and organizations know that by that time, all employees who doesn't have tax numbers should have tax numbers. Okay. So the moment if they still don't have tax numbers, unfortunately, you won't be able to finalize your reconciliation, which will be more at risk. Okay. So people need to start taking action now for all employees. But for August, they give us a little way to say, okay, for now, for August, you can still file. Though there will be exemptions on your file. Okay. But for February, come what may, you won't be able to file anything. Wow. So I think it's actually an advice to everyone who is employing someone to make sure that all your team members have a tax number. Yes. And do you assist with that? Yes, we do. Yeah. So do you need your assistance with the tax reference number registration? You are there for US Brendmo. Okay. We'll be there to assist you. Yeah. So which is very critical, Christine. You are saying and the year-end reconciliation is the most important one because you need to issue out RP5 to the people. Yes. So why do you think tax numbers are required? They are required because that's when SARS will know, okay, this is Mollen. Okay. Because already you are registered with them with the tax number. Yes. So your unique tax number, or if they punch your unique tax number, they will definitely know, oh, this is Christine, this is Mollen. Okay. So that's how they will know, even when you need to go and file your individual tax. Okay. They will now know, okay, Christine was submitted, okay, this is the RP5 certificate. Yeah. Or she was working at Brendmo. Or Mollen was working here. Yeah. So that's how they will know because of the tax number. Okay. So if you don't have a tax number, which is a bit weird to say, how can you be an employee but you're not recognized by the authorities? Yes. Yeah. No, I think you are touching a very important one, and I hope our listeners are really taking that into account to say it's a requirement that each and every person in your organization. So if you are the CFO, the human resource person, make sure when you are getting new people, they do have a tax number. And they need to have a tax number so that in your systems, you import those tax numbers. So, and you mentioned that from February 2026, we can't process without those tax numbers. So it's hectic. I hope all your clients, you've already informed them. Yeah, I'm in the process of doing that. But just a few, but mostly I always advise to say you need tax numbers for employees. If they don't have, we always assist them to have one. Okay, so you also mentioned, Christine, that the employers, after they run, especially for the February, they need to issue out RP5, which is like a summary of the taxes that were withheld or summarized payslip. Ne? RP5 is like a summarized payslip. Yes. So when should employers issue out these tax certificates to their employees? So what then happens? What I said is. For February, right? Yes. That's the year where the SARS year end, but the default for SARS. Yeah. So regardless of a year end as a company, if you have a May year end or which other month, you still stick to the February one when it comes to payroll taxes. Okay. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Yeah. Yeah. So for this one now, what it means is that summary of what Christine was earning from 1 March 2025 in this case to February 2026. Yeah. They should be issued an RP5, depending with how with my threshold or how much I'm earning from the company. Okay. So now what then happens is when you need to roll forward to the next pay period, which is March, you need to make sure that you have collected all your essentials, which is the EMP501 reconciliation report. You have to create the RP5 certificate. Yeah. But this one will come as a file that we'll need to use in EasyFile. Okay. And then so after running that, you need to make sure that by the time when it's due, so basically we say the period will be open around May, it will be due by the end of May. Okay. So you need to make sure by end of May, all tax certificates for employees are already out. Okay. So let's say if I do it late, it's going to open early in May, maybe around 10, 15 May. Whichever client I've done, or if you're an employer, you are doing it on yours by yourself, you need to make sure that the same time you're done, you don't wait for your employees to ask for the tax certificates. Okay. You issue them to them. Because by law, they need to have them. That's so that they'll also be able to submit their taxes when they forge you. Yeah. Okay. So because I remember we once had a conversation with Tatenda as well for individual tax, and he mentioned that one of the key documents
if you are employed, is the IRP5. So for them to be able to do their submissions as well. So thank you for that, Christine. So I think just to conclude, Christine, what can you tell the new employers about payroll to say you need to set up? What is your advice actually for the new employers that want to employ people around what we were discussing, because we are actually concluding this conversation?
Okay, thank you so much, Mollen. What would be my advice to the new employers out there? For the first one, if you recap what you have said, the first thing when you're employing someone, we need a tax number from you.
Okay.
So may you please have a tax number? So which means we need a tax number from an employee.
Okay.
We need their documents, which is their passport if they are foreigners. We need their ID if they are South African citizens. Because why? You can't just rely on saying, I'm Christine.
Okay.
When you say, I'm just Christine, but I have a second name. My name is Christine Rutend, but I wouldn't know. Some employees are just use how they are being called out there. So you need their proper documents, because SARS needs everything, how it is on the ID.
Okay.
And so when you are now requesting things, it won't be like, it's now contradicting to say, is this the same person or there are two different people? So basically you need those documents, the IDs, the tax numbers, and you're good to go.
Okay. And I think one of the most important one that you highlighted there to say, make sure your payroll is run on a system. So I know people like, no, we run it on Excel, and make sure there's a system so that it helps you with the reconciliation that we are talking about and your information. And I know you spend a lot of time for those clients that didn't run on their on their system. Now you need to think you submitted 2,000 or let's say 20,000. Who are the people? Because there's no documents. So thank you very much, Christine, and I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed this conversation where Christine was taking us through the payroll taxes and the payroll submission and the importance of it. Thank you. I think we're going to come back again maybe in the next sessions to talk about how do you structure your payroll for tax benefit so that at least your employee get the most amount, and you structure it in such a way that they are not heavily taxed. Don't just say they are earning 100,000 and all of it is basic salary. So there's ways of structuring that. But subscribe to this channel so that at least you don't miss out on that conversation when we are going to have it. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.